Welcome back, everyone. Last time we checked in, we saw an EV driver pulling off some absolutely insane savings, but it all ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. Well, today we've got the October 2025 update, and we're going to find out what happened next. So let's just dive right in. This was the number one question you guys had after our last explainer. I mean, a 97% savings rate is incredible, but can you actually keep that up in the real world? Today we're going to answer that question with a whole new month of data. So before we get to the new numbers, let's just do a quick recap. It all started with this one unbelievable figure from the end of September. Remember this? 97.67%. After 201 days of owning his EV, this was the total fuel saving Christopher Manuel had managed to pull off compared to a regular gas car. I mean, it just sounds made up, right? Which led a lot of us, and a lot of you, to wonder, this is the big test. Is a near zero cost for fuel just a one-time lucky break? Or has this driver actually figured out a strategy that can hold up over the long haul? And, speaking of the long haul, this is where our story takes a really interesting turn. Because in October, the driver didn't just rinse and repeat. Nope, he decided to change things up a bit and throw a new variable into the mix. For months, the game plan was super simple. Just stick to the free, slow public chargers. But in October, Christopher decided to see if he could get a little more speed and convenience into his routine. And you can see the proof right here. When we look at his charging log for October, suddenly new names start popping up. Networks like Jolt and EV Charger are on the list, which tells us he wasn't just hitting up the same old slow chargers anymore. So what's going on here is he evolved his strategy. He started using what we're calling tiered free charging. These are services like Jolt that give you a free daily chunk of fast charging. In Jolt's case, it's 7 kilowatt hours. It's like a free daily shot of speed and flexibility without the cost. But here's the million-dollar question, right? Faster charging almost always means more expensive charging. So by adding these quick, convenient top-ups, did Christopher finally have to kiss his near-zero cost strategy goodbye? Did the savings bubble finally burst? All right, okay, enough suspense. It is time to look at the numbers for October and see what actually happened when this new, more flexible strategy got put to the test. First off, let's be clear, the car wasn't just parked in the driveway all month. In October alone, Christopher drove 1,503 kilometers. That's a pretty realistic amount of driving for a lot of people. So, for all that driving, over 1,500 kilometers, using a new mix of fast and slow chargers, what do you think the final bill was for the entire month? 3 cents. No, that is not a typo. The total cost to power his car for the entire month of October was 3 cents. And that tiny little cost only happened because on one single charge, he went just a little bit over the limit of a free $20 voucher. Otherwise, it would have been a perfect zero. To put that into perspective, this new, more flexible strategy led to a 99.99% saving for the month of October compared to a gas car. What's incredible is that the savings rate actually improved. Okay, so that monthly result is just staggering. But what we really want to know is what this does to the overall picture. So let's zoom out and look at the cumulative stats for the entire time he's owned the car. Okay, here is the updated dashboard after 232 days. The car has now traveled over 9,100 kilometers. The grand total for fueling all of that driving is still just $44.47. And maybe most importantly, check out the battery health, still a perfect 100%. This chart says it all, doesn't it? That tiny little sliver on the left, you can barely even see it. That's the total EV cost. And the huge bar on the right? That's what it would have cost in a gas car, almost $2,300. The difference is just astronomical. So when you crunch all the numbers, that brings the new, updated total savings percentage to 98.06%. Over the entire ownership period, he has now officially wiped out more than 98% of his fueling costs. Now, this slide right here, this might be the most important one of the entire explainer. Just look at the trend. The savings rate didn't flatten out, it didn't drop, it actually went up. From 97.35% back in August to 98.06% by the end of October. So, we can finally answer that question from the beginning with a whole lot of confidence. This isn't just a fluke. It isn't a lucky break. This is a real, sustainable, and even an improving trend. This strategy is the real deal.
So how on earth is this possible? Let's break down the secret sauce, the evolved strategy that makes these numbers happen.
Here's the blueprint, and it's actually pretty simple. The foundation is still maximizing those free, slow public chargers. But the key evolution is layering on those tiered free fast charging options, like Jolt's daily freebie. You just integrate those quick top-ups into your daily errands, and you get the best of both worlds, speed and flexibility, without the cost.
And that really is the heart of it all. Owning an EV is what opens the door to these kinds of savings. But it's the driver's strategy, the conscious habits, the planning, the consistency that actually walks through that door and turns potential savings into actual, real money in your pocket. Which really just leaves us with one final question to think about. This was just one driver's story, with his specific routine and his local charging spots. But it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If you take a hard look at your own daily drive, your commute, your errands, what do you think you could save?